Good morning, good morning. This is Jolene with a Jewel Design. Today, well, it's a little different, but it is a journal with me. Had some technical difficulties and was figured I would make the most of it. So as you can see, I am working on the final touches of the trifold or tri-flip envelope insert that we had for the journal with me from last week, the Christmas at Your Door journal. And I sat here and spent like 20 or 30 minutes trying to figure out how to cluster, how I was going to create the closure or, for this thing. And so I didn't want to spend all that time online with you guys. So I figured it out. And then I thought I could just sit here real quick and work it out, speed it up, talk over it, sort of dub over it. So you can see what I was doing. And really, it was just trying to find a way to close the envelope so things wouldn't flap around every time you turned the page. And it took me a while to figure out what I had. I definitely had to go make a Dollar Tree run after this video because I realized I could not finish this project without a few extra variances. But pretty much at this point, I had some fabric, I had lace, I had bits and pieces of ribbon. I was just going to sort of create this cute little cluster in the middle to try and create sort of a cluster and a closure. I wanted something to be able to wrap the ribbon around or glue the ribbon down, ribbon or string down in certain areas. So I was just sort of throwing it together to see how it would pan out because it was sort of going to help me lead to how I was going to do the next closure on the rest of today's project. So I really just wanted to see, how does this pan out. I found a cute little clear button. So I found the reddest one of my spring flowers and went ahead and put it down. I was trying to put just glue in the middle to see if it would give me enough oomph to wrap a string around without perfectly gluing down the whole button. It didn't quite work, I don't think. We did come up with an idea and a plan, but it took a little bit of work on that too. So then I figured the coins that I make, the 1.5 inch coin punches, would make a great way to definitely put a bracket in it and sort of create a, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know the word right now. But it would be the piece that I need. I was hoping to, wrap string around. And I'm completely blanking out this morning. So hopefully your morning's going better than mine. You're not completely at a loss. But I figured I was going to try it first just to sort of glue it down so the string wouldn't get caught on the bracket. Which sort of worked. It ended up definitely helping make the whole coin punch a little thicker, a little more in depth. But I ended up having to find things to help do what I wanted to do. So it was still slightly a trial and error. So hopefully your morning is going well, that your week is going well. I can't believe we are on the 21st of October already. Oh my gosh, being, every Thursday morning that we're doing this. Oh my goodness. So I went looking for some foam, scrapbook spacers, I guess that's what they are. We use them to sort of give dimension. We all use them, but during the time, scrapbooking was to give some dimension. So we had highs and lows and shadows and all that fun stuff. So I thought, well, what if I put it over the bracket, because I really wanted just the bracket for a look, glued it all down, figured that would give me the space necessary to wrap a string around and not worry about it getting caught. So it was just getting it to glue, it was getting it to stay in the right direction, getting it to dry. But I did like having the bracket in the middle. It was pretty. Yeah, talk about trial and error, which is really glad why I just sort of worked on this. And I could speed up and talk over for you guys because this would have taken up the whole video. This was I think videotaped, it was 16 to 20 minutes. And then there was all the fine tuning. Oh my goodness. So I'm still trying to figure it out. As you see, I ended up pulling up the pocket, which I thought, well, okay, never mind. I'll just glue it down then. Definitely trial and error. Lots of trial and error this morning, but it was good. It was okay, well, never mind. Let me just make this work for me. The goal was just, though, to be able to sort of string it together and keep it closed while we flip from page to page and not have everything fall out of our really pretty envelope insert here. Oh, but it was fun because it got finally to a point where I started listening to Christmas music while doing this video because I was like, okay. So with it, I think we got down to that point where I finally got the papers that I was hoping for, as you can see, and I wanted to get that pocket done. And I really just wanted this poor baby done. So while I was drawing, we figured, let's get the papers done. Went ahead and measured out the potential of, the distress pages that I want to put inside. So I just sort of measured it out, figured I'd cut it. Now, when I was all said and done, I don't know what I cut. I ended up with like 3 different sizes of paper trying to use this. I think I cut the wrong direction. But that was okay in a way, because in the end, I had this sort of, I don't know, I have uneven pages in this little notebook flip, which is fine. I'm totally good with that. So luckily I'm off camera here, so you don't have to see like every little cut, but maybe you would have been able to go, no, cut that way, no, cut that way. That's all right. It all works. It does work. I went to go cut it and then realized it wasn't going to be an even cut. So I think I went like 4.5 inches, and it's 4.25 for an 8.5 piece of paper, and I don't know. It was all weird. It should have been more even, but it was okay. Made it fun to figure it out. But again, I was just wanted to let you see what I was working on, but I didn't want to be like, oh, let's take a month of Sundays and not really get a whole lot done. But these were the things that I was just happened to be working on, so I turned the videotape on. Right? You turn it on and see what happens. So hopefully in a moment you'll see my fun collateral damage here of paper sizes. But it ended up, like I said, 3 pieces. So I sort of went small, medium, large at first, and that was sort of weird. So I'm like, no, let's just go like the short ones in the front, then medium, then large. Get it all taken care of. And they're all a little bit different tone and color, which was great. So I was trying to debate whether that last little one, the last little one needed to be on top. It was just too weird to have it like smack in the middle. Went and found my Tim Holtz tiny attacher, I think is what they call it, or Gail calls it a tiny attacher. So I wanted to make sure that, I love it because we can just staple it, especially if we're going to hide and glue things. I'm not trying to like glue all those tiny things together and then do something else. So I was stoked about that. So then I was trying to remember what I was doing. I almost glued it backwards. I'm like, oh, there we go. Almost. I almost glued it the wrong direction. I would have just been kicking myself at that point. But we got it. So I got to keep my cute sort of postcard header, which was awesome. And in the end, it was really cute, so I made sure it all fit. Thinking there's somewhere we did start working on my paper clip too. So there's a lot we still had to do with this one, and I did sort of want to show you guys the progress of it. I didn't want to completely exclude you because you had started the project with me, so I wanted to continue on with it and get it, as accomplished as possible. So yeah, of course I had an idea, right? Because there was a little blank space, and you could write on it, but it was just, I don't know, it seemed blah. It needed a little TLC. So I've been using this stencil, because it sort of points out to Hollyish. I thought it was very pretty. I know you guys can't quite see a whole lot, but just a little bit of a stencil on it, just to give it a little, and it definitely shows up better in person. My camera does definitely white stuff out sometimes. I should say my camera. My workbox light is pretty crazy. Making sure everything is well glued down because I think I over spaced that out a little bit. Okay. So there we go. Notebook's in place. The folder with the paperclip. Still wondering about the top of that paperclip. And now we have the rest of the closure. So we'll just have to debate once it's sort of stuck in a little bit better how we want to go about doing that. Still letting it dry. Still a little worried about that. Okay, we'll come back to this. But there you go. And it's decorated on the back. Everything's glued in nice and tight. I think we're good. Okay, so I took a break for a few hours and came back. And I figured, okay, we had our coffee. And I had a good video started, but I had videotaped this so early ahead that it got really crazy. So here it is. I cut the string. It's all dry, so you can go from the bottom up or top down, whatever your preference is. I think from the top down it keeps it a little bit more closed in so things don't move around, as you can see. So that worked out really well. And then, so we have our perfect writing. We still have the other side of that paper clip that's bugging me, and then the notebook down below. So what I thought would do is we would sort of cover up that end of the paper clip because it was green. If it happened to been the antique, I don't think I would have thought anything of it, but it is sitting there. So, and I didn't think to make it like a peekaboo double-sided paper clip, which I've got to start remembering to do. And, make it worthwhile. But I think I can sort of save it and get around it. So we're just going to use a piece of paper and, we're going to make do. So, as you can see, I am slightly hinged here, too. I, in between the two videos, went ahead and somehow pulled a tendon or a muscle or something in my thumb. OMG. Ow, painful. So, I don't know what I do. It's like anytime I try to close, like I can grip something big, but if I try to like bring my fingers and my thumbs too close together, it's just sharp. It's a sharp pain. Literally a sharp pain in my tush. So here we go. So I'm a little slower too today because I'm trying to get through this without really using my thumb. And we grab everything, with the hands. So it definitely didn't help matters that I was sort of struggling with that too. I make it through most of the video with it on. I think near the end, I finally just give up and pull it off, trying to finish this video. But like my daughter interrupted me and all kinds of fun things. So I thought, we'll start over. And the video was good. It's just the chit chat wasn't so peachy. So we're just going to take, plan B here. But I am liking this, that there's a little bit of decor, a little something on the other side of the paper clip, so it's not so obvious that it's green. And it just makes it a little more decorative on that side of the flip when it's closed. So we'll go ahead and let that dry, but I think it's going to be really pretty when it's sitting there. Okay, so this one has a closure. I don't have to worry about it going. And, it's matchy, it's pretty, but I did realize we had 3 pages back to back that were all full. So I'm actually going to have to place that envelope piece somewhere else in the book, like closer to the front, because we have the middle pocket and then we have something else. Okay, so I totally forgot about these. I went ahead and did 3 sheets of colored Christmas words. You have your shabby pink, you sort of have a mint chip, and you have a silvery blue. They all go with the Frank Garcia stuff. They're going with Stamperia. So many colors. So we have 30 words that are in the darker pink and the lighter pink. Same thing with the mint and same thing with the blue. You have 5 verticals and 2 of the seasonal greetings. Now, of course, my hands are not matching my chit chat. I am so sorry. But you can get these individually in each sheet by itself, per color, or get the whole packet of them for one price. So it's definitely going to at a discount if you buy all 3 in one shot. And it's like 201 labels for you. Otherwise, it's 65 and 2 phrases each page individually. So go check that out on my Etsy shop. They are up and running for your less than neutral vintage types. Because we do have, I have my vintage words and other things coming here very soon, actually. So by the time this one airs, I hope to have some vintage labels and vintage numbered words for you guys too. So keep an eye out for that. But those 3, the other ones have been out. Now, here we go into the fun thing. I realized that when I was laying this out that I still had to punch holes in everything. And with all the flips and flaps, when I go to punch my holes, the flaps were going to be in the way. And as it is, I have the same problem with here. I'm going to have to punch my 2 holes and then put a hole punch right on the edge of my envelope to make sure that the envelope lays flat within those discs. I've had to do it before with the other little one. I realized the same thing. So I'm hoping when I just do a little bit of like a thumbnail or a thumb punch like we do for our pockets, that everything will sit flat. So here I had to start cutting things short. There's no way I could flip it open and out and everything else and not take a chance. I'm still going to take a chance that those holes are going to be in the way, but at least I have room to do that little hide punch. Now the whole hard part will be figuring out how to close this all up. I was going to put a dime thingy there, a coin, to sort of close it, but now I'm running out of room. So we'll see what happens. And I don't want anything to get in the way of where the grommet holes are going to be for the rings. So I almost scrapped this whole page. This whole page was oh my gosh, I was all ready to go and realized I had to cut things at an angle. So we're getting crafty with this one. We are definitely trying to figure out what to do. I had already cut things accordingly. Then I was trying to figure out which way to go with it. My idea was to sort of turn it up at an angle to see if we could maybe make it more interesting. And because we got that paper in, I now can add in that journal sheet that's just going to glue down and fold open for a full journal page. So I am stoked about that. So make it a little thick, come to find out. So that was interesting. But the goal is to hopefully have that second flap cover the paper and everything stays out of the way. So the goal is to maybe tuck it in so you really can't see it until you open that flap. But in the end, I end up gluing it just a little off, and so it does stick out. Plus with the I think the width of the paper. So now I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to close it. And I go round and around on that. But I do finally come up with a pretty good, I think we end up with a pretty good ending result on that one. It just took some work. The whole video is under an hour, which is a shock for me. But only because I am sort of speeding it up and working through it and talking to you guys. So we're just sticking to the points and I'm not getting too chit-chatty, too wordy, too whatever. So still have a lot of decorating to do. But we got the gist of it done, and that is the good part. So I'm trying to figure out to go straight or whether to go sideways with this one. Maybe at an angle and something fun and fancy, or whether something more, decorative. But we keep having that problem with that flap. I really didn't want to see that white flap much. And so it definitely throws me off quite a bit. So I'm going to decide to, find a way to hide it, find a way to sort of get it to blend in. I definitely have a lot of decorating. I think I have some decorating ideas in the end to sort of help hide the fact that it's even there. So hopefully your weekends were going good. Your weeks are going well. We finally had a nice, fun weekend. Pretty stoked about that. We got to finally... I took my girls to a football game. I was stoked about that. Sammy's a freshman in high school, so we got to go to a high school junior varsity game. I'm still debating on the angle of that one. I think I do want to cut it up quite a bit because I just don't want to see it. I just if I have to, it needs to be a tiny little bit of something in the background. There we go. So yeah, that was really fun. It was a nice weather. It got really windy though. It was so windy on that Friday. It was crazy, but it was a good game. The JV didn't win. I think we lost by a touchdown, I guess. Wasn't our day for our junior varsity team. But the girls had fun, and we went with another girlfriend and her girls, so that was a really good thing because, we got to hang out with some friends and not a whole lot of people at that game. So we had room, like we could spread out and not worry about having a mask on every 5 seconds and all that good stuff. So it was good. It was nice. I hadn't been to a game in like 22 years. So, all right. So hopefully this is glued down and I haven't made major mistakes or issues. I've got my pockets. We'll see how that's going to pan out. I think I glued it up there so it's a little tight, but we're hoping. The goal is, I think, is to put some journal cards in it. Right now I'm putting a few things in every one of them at first so that I know what's going on. And then at the end, when I have everything cut out, I'll have to decide how many things. As usual, I'm doing this backwards. I always forget to put the whole, my little thumb notch until afterwards. That wasn't a big one, but it works. It helps us see the cards a little bit better. But yeah, so it was the first social outing event that we've had in 2 years. Going shopping is the extent of our outings these days for some time, and this is what it is. So that was good. And then I totally missed a card when I was distressing. I think I found the card at the last minute, not realizing it wasn't part of my original cutout. I think I had it in my stash. But yeah, and then me and hubby got to go to the movies. We did a matinee. The joy of having a 15-year-old to babysit. She can watch her 10-year-old, and they both play games, and they're chatting with friends, and so it gets, my parents are down the street, so they, really need something. It's always good, but yeah, we got to go to the movies. We went and saw the James Bond movie, because that's, the one thing we're willing to go do. All right, so we know we have coverage. Let's see if we can get this top done. And I'm hoping if I do this right with the right amount of, the right angle, which I sort of regret cutting the top ahead of time. I had sort of wished I hadn't. I had waited till I actually had glued it down and then just maybe trimmed off the top. But, because putting it back exactly where you wanted it is sometimes really hard. I did want to cut off the edge here. Because that one I did want it to go off the edge. Because it is on the fold, I guess. And I didn't want to show any more white. But the top and the sides, I wanted that red border. And that's where we got in a little bit of a... I don't know, I tried to reline it up and it didn't quite come out right. But it came close. So we'll see. Sorry, hold on for a second. Ooh, voice. Alright. Of course, you made the cut, so now you have to re-distress everything. But the movie was good. There was like 9 of us in the movie theater. Of course, we were all seated sort of close together, though. We all picked our seats, but there was nothing to stop anybody from sitting right on top of you. And that was the problem. That's right. When I cut it, not realizing how much of the white envelope would show underneath. And that's what I didn't want, any more white envelope to show. So I put my hair there. I think a couple times it pops in. You get to see some more Halloween color. Since I'm all decked out for fall, of course. Oh, well. It's fun. It'd be decked out for fall, but be working on Christmas. It's like, oh my goodness. Though I know a bunch of us are, so it's like, well, okay, we're all in good company. So funny. I don't change my nails so often. And I'm so stoked I actually have physical nails right now. Those are mine with like a gel sticker over them. So I haven't had my nails my honest to God nails that long and forever. I've been, cheating. Yeah, this did not line up like it was supposed to. It only got worse. So I'm definitely going to have to do some, I think I'm going to do another cluster down there where it says remember me. And I think I'm going to put some lace across the top. And because it does need some reinforcement, so I may wrap a lace around it. Even though I know it's going to pop open, I'm going to have to do some lace, I think, to help reinforce that top. It feels a little flimsy. I noticed when I opened it up later in the day. It felt a little light, so... Gonna need some decorating, which you guys will all get to see when it's all said and done. I can't wait when it's all done to do a flip through, because you guys have stuck it out with me and watched me get through all the base pieces, but I haven't been able to decorate as much with you guys. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna put lace on the top and a cluster down below to sort of hide everything. So some kind of cluster, use that and cluster some paper behind it, I think, and lace on the top. So, which is gonna be a lot more lace on this one. There's lace is gonna be on the bottom of this whole page and on the top back anyway. So that'll help, I think, if I put the lace on the top back and work it up. Now here is where I totally goof up. And I tell you guys, look on the side that you need, right? But I think I ended up cutting a hole into it. And trying to fix it on the front side, I cut a hole right into it. Open it right up. I'm like, oh, I know better. So that was not my... It wasn't my best thing. I was like, oh no. So I have to reinforce it. Yeah, well, at least what I cut off for the envelope ends up being sort of my saving grace. I was like, well, okay, how can I do this? I gotta make a hinge on the inside to keep it from completely coming apart. And I don't know. Oh my gosh, it's crazy, because here I told you, I'm telling you guys, yeah, I cut from the other side so you can see, and I go ahead and do it anyway. I cut from the side that it's sort of blind in a way. So I'm going to bring it down with a little bit of a distressed angle, because I don't need a lot on the red side. Again, I'm trying to keep this, the whole point of all these lovely envelopes is to sort of hide inside each other, right? Oh well. Hide inside each other or cover up, and I'm new. What can I say? I needed more layers. I wanted more oomph to the whole thing, right? So we'll glue that down there, and then glue it there, and that should help keep everything from, falling apart. As Gail says, everything can be fixed, so we're gonna do what we can to fix it, right? But yeah, if you're a big James Bond fan, I'm loving that with Daniel Craig. They went back and did some of the older movie titles and remade them. And I have to assume they're on track because I haven't seen an old Sean Connery or even the guy before him video in forever. In high school, I saw a lot of them. My girlfriend had like all of them. She was a huge, her and her dad were a huge old James Bond fans. So I saw a lot of them growing up, but I haven't seen them in forever. And so, all right, so we're going to try to tuck that piece of paper in there. I started trying to make a mark, thinking that was going to help. And you know me, I like, gluing in odd spots. But the whole goal is trying to keep it low enough to where it sort of opened up on the fold pretty close. So there wasn't any really bumpy spots when we were gluing. And this one is going to be on the front. So this one's going to get distressed both on the edges of both the envelope and, of course, the piece I'm working with. But I have to cut this down. So, again, I'm distressing, and then I'm going back and cutting. Because I never know what you're going to stick with. I really should learn to just cut first and then distress. But then I forget to distress. So I glue it down and go, oh, man, I want to distress that. But that's okay. At least I didn't distress the side I'm cutting off. At least I had the common sense to wait on that one. And this one was funny because apparently I had made prior marks and I didn't catch it till now that on the left side there is already a mark of where I wanted it. And then I go and I start cutting one and then I go to cut the other and I get all confused. And it pans out. It all works out. But I could not figure out what I was up to. Oh, that's why. Because I think I ended up trimming that side for some reason. Not thinking about it. I saw a different mark. And I cut that side down, which removed... I catch it just in time. But see, I go back to the original mark, not the first mark. Yeah, it was a little weird. I forgot that I had marked it, I think, when I first was laying this out where I wanted it. And then, of course, I'm over here talking to you guys, and I'm trying to work on this, and totally forget what I was trying to do. Yeah, see, I cut off all my marks. And so I have no clue what I was supposed to be doing. But then it reminded me that I wanted some space. If I was going to put a disc or any kind of clasp, I didn't want to cover up the door too much. I wanted to put something here. So I ended up cutting off a little bit more of the decorative instead. Which I guess, decorating, remove one for the other. But, look, a piece of scrap I get to use. Oh, man. I have such a stack of scrappy papers and pieces because I never know what I'm going to need for the next cluster of, a cluster or layering or whatever. So, oh my goodness. But yeah, so we got to go to the football game, me and the girls, and then me and hubby got to go to the movies. We were supposed to have a friend come down. We have a couple that we've known forever, and the hubby is going through cancer too right now. So we were debating about getting the boys out of their comfort zones and having them get together, but they weren't feeling all that great. So the couple would end up not feeling that great that morning to travel. So, all right, so I'm still on the concept of lace here, cluster there. Lots going on. So I am just working through this the best I can with you guys. But it's got to a point where I'm talking over it because I was losing things to talk about. And then at some point my daughter comes out and she's just talking a mile a minute. And at that point I think I started giving up on the jibber jabber. And as usual, I'm all out of whack. I cannot, I cut it, I trim it, and then I forget to put it back down where I need it. There we go. Thank goodness for glue sticks, right? Then I can check it and always add more, which is always nice. Ugh. All right. And the nice thing is I'm out here and I'm able to do this because, homeschooling is getting better. The teacher's starting to finally get a rhythm and spend more time with them and actually get some of their work, some of their online work done with them. So I don't have to do as much, except that I don't really know what she's doing, so it's hard to help her study through, but it's all right. We'll figure it out. Okay, so we've got our cover on the top. Now we need to do the inside, and this one took me a while. This one I hemmed and hawed on it too, which is why I did not feel like spending a whole lot of time. Another reason I'm trying to figure out what to do, how to decorate it. I have this little punch down below from the envelope's original, so I thought, well, what if we use it and make it, to our advantage, use it. What am I doing? Oh, I'm like, what am I doing? I'm decaling all the edges since I think I already have like 2 sides that way, so I figured I might as well make sure all sides have that ripped edge, especially when it's distressed on that cream paper. It's amazing. I feel like I seriously distress things, but on the camera you can barely tell. Oh my goodness. But I'm sort of a frugal. Frugal, is that the right word? I have a hard time like overdoing anything. I want to like stretch it to no end. But like to me, I feel like I do all kinds. And here you could actually sort of see it on the camera that I am trying to work at it. But there are times I'm like, oh, I did plenty, and then I look back later and go, I didn't even touch it. What am I doing? And my workbox light does sort of wash things out, so you don't always see the full potential there. So I know I want to put it down. I know I want some lace and ribbon and something. So for the most part, this is my base. How I decorate it is what sort of sets me up and gets me all frazzled trying to figure it out. But I did realize after my video that I also watched Lorette's video on my Christmas Joy kit, that she makes a gorgeous folio folder booklet thing. And I'm missing some elements, so I definitely sort of copied her Dollar Tree run and got some wonderful pits to finish this off with. So I'm trying to decide how much to decorate this. I have that little bit of fabric. I'm trying, do I put it down here? Do I put it up above? It seems really dark and really crazy, like really harsh. So I didn't know if that was going to be my best bet. I'm still thinking about some kind of a label, but it seems really small. So I thought I had a larger label to place on this. I do, but it's debating on how to use it. That is throwing me for some reason. If that'd be fun to write on with the lace and stuff down below, a little note, a little word of gratitude, a little something, right? So I decided, okay, well, I've got the lace. I have 2 or 3 different laces I've definitely been using throughout the whole kit, so we're going to keep going with that. Summer, if I want a little more hearty, I go with this one. If I want something lighter, I have the other one that we use, I think, on the back of one of my kits. One of the pages. I messed with the little one, but I like the scallops more over that rounded corner edge of the envelope. So I'm debating on trying to get some more color behind it. I'm finding those scrap pieces. I might as well put them to good use. If I'm going to cover up I'm going to cut them down, I might as well use them, right? And this one already has sort of another rounded edge to it. So I thought, well, let's just keep going with it. Well, let's make it worthwhile. Oh. The hard part is that a little bit of a hint of something going on the edge of the paper. So I kept trying to balance that out with whatever I was using. So I kept flipping that around. I just couldn't decide, do I distress it? Do I add something to it? Do I try to put like a little header to it? I really struggled with this. I couldn't figure out how to like make it worthwhile. And this is when you have limited resources and limited materials, you get a little, I don't know, it gets a little complicated. Not complicated, it just gets weird because you cannot decide what to do. You only have so many options. And you got to make it work, right? With what you have. And definitely wish, you could do more. So I'm still trying to debate on that. I am not even knowing what to do yet. I know the bottom is pretty easy, but I'm trying to figure out how to balance out the side, because the other side's only a piece of paper. So it's like, okay, well, all your fun stuff is on that right side. Your paper's on the left red. The bottom's going to be gorgeous. The top on the back's going to be pretty. But again, I'm trying to give you guys writing space. I'm trying to give you guys journal space, but still be decorated. So trying to keep that in place. Yeah, I just couldn't grasp anything. If I moved my thumb in too far towards my first finger, oh, forget it. It was this searing pain. I don't even know what I did. I was diamond painting the night before, and I was doing a lot of something during the day. Didn't really realize anything. Went to go diamond paint that night, and just happened. Sometimes I'm just simply like rubbing my thumb over my first finger or something, and I pinched something. I have no clue. Okay, well, I got a new idea. Oh, I wanted a more rounded corner. That's what I was like, what am I doing? Because the other one wasn't quite perfect, and I think I cut the wrong edge. So I thought, well, what if we do like the mound inside the mound, so we have both. Yeah, I didn't trust myself to cut it once it was glued down, so I thought I'm cutting it first. After the debacle on the other end, I was not taking the chances of trimming off anything else and cutting into my envelope and having weird holes everywhere. Alright, so get things lined up. I wanted some color behind the lace. Bring the red over from the other side. Here, we were gonna meld these two envelopes together for sure. I'm not sure. Oh, so yeah, I decided that because of the eyelets in this lace, I thought wouldn't it be fun to put some green in here, because haven't done a lot of green, right? We have it in the big ribbon, but I don't have it in a lot of other things except for some paper here and there. So I figured, wait a minute, let's just string in my favorite dark green and just sort of give us a little bit of a, I didn't gather, which it would have been fun to gather it, but I think that would have made it too bulky, so I'm glad I didn't think that far ahead. But I decided that a little greenery down there would be super cute. So I went ahead and it was really hard because I couldn't grasp anything. I've hurt my right wrist and my right shoulder so many times lately that I've been gripping a lot of things with my left, which is probably why my left thumb and tendon there and that wrist probably finally gave out. But I didn't realize how many more things I'd been grabbing with my left until you hurt yourself, of course. Then you go, oh, I use that all the time. Wait a minute. Oh, what was I looking for? Oh, my finger thumb gooey thing. The silicone thumb cover, so that I wouldn't get glue all over my fingers. What happens when I take it off into the mix of I don't know what. I decided, wasn't sure whether to cut that or just to keep it. I didn't want to glue it down though, because we want to make sure we can get stuff in there. And then I put some more glue down so that ribbon would stay put on both ends, which is really hard. It's funny how the lace won't stick to that finger thing, but like ribbon and other weird things will definitely stick, and I can't get it to stay put. So I just trimmed it. Yeah, see, the lace, the ribbon will stick to my finger, to that finger thing, but so we just let it sort of get frizzy, frilly, let it fuzz a little bit. In the end, I thought it turned out really cute. I'm trying to see what we ended up with. But yeah, I didn't get as far as I wanted on this one. I did start the bottom a little bit, but I don't know if I got that on camera or not with you guys. Alright, so we're getting the paper in place because that I know for sure, so I can finish the sealing of this so that when we have our little ordeal, we know exactly how this one's going to close up. Because it definitely, and I love the idea of just having this large piece of paper in here opened up and you guys could just write on it. I loved it. Plenty of writing space. And even with the squares, you could even break it up into different days. You could put a bunch of dates in there. Like I said, I am working on, or worked on, I should say, I realize I have no December daily numbers for the vintage stuff. So I was a little frustrated about that. I realized the other day, I was like, oh my gosh, how did I do that? Totally skipped it, totally missed it. Because I have pink ones, and the pink Shabby Christmas, there are numbers in there. My blue Snowy Winter ones, there's blue ones in there. So you have numbers for both of those. But I didn't make Christmas ones. I didn't make vintage Christmas December daily numbers. So those will be out by the end of this week. So look for that. If it's not out today, they will definitely, if it's on this link for today, it'll be out tomorrow. But yeah, I couldn't decide. I couldn't come up with an idea that I liked. I didn't know what to do with that label. It just didn't work for me. I wanted something there, but I think in the end, I just decided it would be best if I left it blank Though I did use the green to go around the edges of this one. And it got really cute, actually. It was a nice little accent to do this. I have like a silvery green. And it was good on top of this gray tone that I have on the label. It's actually really pretty. It came out really nice. But I just couldn't debate. I kept trying. I'm glad I never glued it down. I think I would have regretted it if I had. But it's definitely something that we are, getting to the end here. And I just was like, well, what am I doing with this? Yeah, we'll keep looking at it. I think as I finish the page and I get all the lace done. Yeah, see, I glued it down. Thought I laid out. Not quite. Oh, well. But now that we worked on the first one, I knew this one did not need to be as crazy. I didn't need to do as much gluing to the poor back side. I decided to put the bracket this time on the other side to make it just a simple little piece because there wasn't a lot of room to do anything majorly decorative. And I've given up on the thumb thing. I need my fingers. So we'll take our chances, right? And since this got cut and I hadn't sewn it yet, it made it really easy for me to, well, somewhat easy, for me to get in there, open it up, and press it down so I had it. And I didn't quite perfectly, I didn't fold it down tightly. There's a little bit of a gap, which is great, so that I could get some string in there if I did it right. And started sticking to that same cream string. I thought, well, let's do sort of, yeah, we were going to knot it. We were going to make it a little different. I may go back and decide if I end up with a fussy cut or something little. I may cover that up. We'll see if it's worth, working on. But for now, I was like, let's just get the string in there, decide what's going on. I'm going to get another one of the foam sticker washi things to give some height to the coin so that we can, be able to wrap around it. Can't even without my little thing. Ugh. A lot of holly, but that's okay. That is definitely this kit. This kit is definitely holly and poinsettias and doors. It was what it was all about. It was what the kit was all about. With a few fun things, right? Some Santas and the girls and, whatever I had. So I think we're going to do that. This is a quick, easy way to close it. I'll have to debate. Like I said, I'm looking at it now going, probably still need to cover that up a little bit. But we'll seal it because I know that it's in place. I know it's going to hold. I have to still clean that. My poor mat. I was debating on closing up the inside, but yeah, okay, I did get in there and was able to finally close that. Because the rest of it's covered up with the paper, so you can't get into it or see it for the matter. So, all right, so we have the top. We have it, latched in so nothing falls out. We have some cards in there. You have your paper, which is looking good. You can see it, so there's something hiding there, which is fine. But yeah, the next goal is to put a lace ribbon border on the bottom. And to do the back side too. So I'm going to put laces on the bottom, a little bit at the top, do some kind of cluster in the bottom of the Remember Me notch. And then the back will have a similar thing. We will just have the back with some lace across the top because I decided the way the pattern was. So I have a few more minutes. I love this ribbon. It just made for some fun, easy stuff, except for trying to cut through the ribbon part, or through the wire part. Trying to layer this all out. Goodness gracious. Probably will end up adding to this too later, but I wanted to start getting the base concept going with what I was working on. Promise, I was trying to get it to iron out. Jeez. Love the wires. They're great for making the bows, but when you want them flat, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Lay it out, keep to our sort of our two-tone, two-layered ribbon going on the bottom here. Which I did just find some red rickrack, so red and green. So I may add in some green rickrack to this one. to give some more color. For we definitely need some more. We have so much red and everything. But it's coming along good, and I can't complain on that sense. I still have a lot to go before I ever get to show this to you guys. So hopefully I get the digitals done that I want done. We have a cozy winter coming up. We have labels and December daily numbers coming up for you guys, both for the vintage look, so match both red and green kits. The cozy winter kit, we have words, we have labels, not words, numbers and labels coming up. And then next week we will have those reveals, and at the end of next week we'll have a fun Halloween spread. I mentioned to you last time, I think I may have mentioned it this one, you guys wouldn't know. So yeah, I am working on Shabby Dabby Doodah's dreaded red Halloween kit. I absolutely fell in love with it. I'm not a huge Halloween person, but it was sort of a Edgar Allan Poe. It was red, it was dark, it was ravens. I don't know, there was something about it that just sounded so much fun. It's not my normal. I won't make a journal out of it, not this year at least. But I wanted to just do a spread, sort of indicative to what my Porch Prince did for her fall 2-page spread. She really inspired a lot of things that I'm up to right now. So I figured that'd be a lot of fun next week, and it'll be a little longer than normal because I think we're just going to sit and play, and you can join along. You can find your Halloween thing or a Christmas thing. So my Porch Prince in fall on Facebook she's done a couple spreads in a sketchbook, so look at those. And then Shabby Dabby Doodah Tina, she has 2 videos up so far with her Dreadful Red folio. So go take a look at those. Just get a feel for what we're up to, what we're looking at. And then hopefully you'll come join me with that. Honest to God, let's just craft. We're just going to have some fun for that week. It's not really a kit, none of my kits, but that's okay. But I just wanted to craft along. I thought I'd chat with you guys while I did it. So I hope you'll join me and work on something while we work on that. So that should be next. It's going to be Thursday or Friday. Just depends how my week goes. I may wait till it may be a Friday, sort of not a bonus, but a different, an honest to God craft with me instead of a journal with me. Halloween craft with me next Friday. There'll be hopefully the reveal on Tuesday of some more winter stuff and Christmas stuff. So yeah, that is what's coming up. I thank you so much for joining me on this slightly different visual than normal. We're getting going. The next time you see this, it hopefully will be all done in early November. I was trying to figure out if that was going to fly or not, but that's not what we're going to end up working on, I don't think. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for subscribing, liking, loving, commenting. I really appreciate it when you do. I know you're watching. I know that I am filling a need that you may have. And make sure you click on all the fun notifications, and that you click onto my Linktree link so that you can make sure you're connected to all of my social media that works best for you. And thank you so much for joining me, going through this next page, the last big page that that we need to work on. Though I do realize I'm missing a page. I do not have all the right counts, but you will have to see that as a surprise, of course, when it comes down to it on the big reveal in November. You'll see what my last big page ends up being in it. So thank you for joining me, getting through this fun journal with me, somewhat live, somewhat not, but I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and we will talk soon.